Buenos días, buenos tardes, y buenos noches, en todo el mundo. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody all around the world, and thank you for joining us today for another Left 4 Dead 2 competitive shoutcast. My name is MK, I'll be your caster and cameraman for today, and today we have the Bloodfest Grand Finals between Impact and Judgment, and I will be accompanied by my co-caster Naina. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing amazing, MK. Thank you so much for having me here for this grand finale. Judgment versus Impact. Does it get better than this? A classic showdown here.
Oh my goodness, how do you hear that?
Oh, what is that?
Hold on, guys. I think we're having a connection issue. Be right back.
What the hell?
16 years since the infection started. Billions have perished across our planet, altering the very way of life. The weak, either deceased, are now amongst the undead, and only the elite thrive. These elite, known as legends, names echo hope in the hearts of those all over the world, hoping to hear the calling of the next era. Because every so often, the world's greatest get together to prove who the greatest is. And that time is now.
In the dead of night we gather round, ready to fight, no time for backing down. A hunter's howl, a tank's roar. This is the really big tournament, we're ready for more. With the smokers grasp, the jockeys ride, and the chargers charge, we navigate through the chaos, side by side. The spitter's venom, the boomer's bile, we'll conquer the rumble mile by mile. It's the really big tournament, let the battle rage. We're the survivors left for dead. We'll fight till the end, we won't be wiped. Yeah, yeah. Every so often the world's best get together to prove who the greatest is. Envy's first win without a loss, next across is spectacular soy sauce. Third in line, victory for Helheim, then time for Lost in the Sauce. Win or fall to defeat, back to back for pub star, choose not to compete. Now with the RBT ascension to 7 Bria, Beeble Vexen says here for redemption. Collection of the world's greatest, who made this top stages. Fear Factory, Ascendant, Diesel, and Boshi set the story, question mark. Osu, you win, and Hakori, road to glory, and do whatever it takes. But I state it's time for RBT8. It's a really big tournament, let the battle rage. We're the survivors left for dead. We'll fight till the end, we won't be wiped. Yeah, yeah.
How about resetting the bracket as well? Hakori has had just about as difficult as a path through RBT7 as possible, and they have made it happen. It is absolutely jaw-dropping. There is the quad to finish it off, and they are going to send Win packing.
That is it. That is the grand finals of RBT over. That will be Hakori getting the victory over Win. Not quite sure what the total.
El octavo gran torneo de la RBT llega este verano.
The really big tournament will return this summer. Alright, and we are back. And I apologize to everybody. I kind of butchered that video. But thank everybody for watching. It is announced we are going to have the really big tournament 8. It will be coming out this summer, Nainal. It's hype time.
Oh yeah, that is amazing. Sure, we had a little bit of the cropping situation, but we all caught the meat and potatoes of that, and it was an amazing teaser for RBT 8, which yes is coming up. So excited! I caught that Arrow 404 replay in there as well. Of course, I was not on the team at the time, but still, it hits different when you know the people playing. Hopefully I'll be a part of the people playing, and yeah, it's amazing. It's time for a new era here, RBT 8.
Yeah, I have a better video of that, guys. I apologize that it got cropped out. I had some unfortunate circumstances in my real life time that I was unable to get that correct. I will upload it to YouTube in the correct manner, so I apologize for kind of butchering that, but it is out. It'll be a thing. There is going to be a lot more than just the regular RBT 8 coming out this year. We're going to have a couple months. We're going to have some fundraisers. We're going to have we're going to have a fundraiser for it. Our goal is try to see if we can raise $5,000 by the end of May or when the tournament begins in June. So keep an eye on that GoFundMe. We're also going to have goals on all the L4D gamer streamers. The link will be there. We have streams planned. Once we get enough donation, we'll do 24-hour stream of RBT past matches. We will replay all of them as long as all the goals are met, and we'll stay up and do them. So 24-hour streams are planned in the future. And not only the players can put their name in history, but the people at home can put their name in history by donating for the really big tournament 8-9 also. Go for it if you guys want to do it. You don't have to, but it would be great to make it great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, let's make something amazing happen as far as not just fighting for glory, but also for a little bit of cash. I mean, let's compensate these people who have been entertaining us for so long with putting on the absolute pinnacle of Left 4 Dead 2 play in the world. I think that they deserve that. They absolutely deserve that. So I hope that we do manage to get a bit of money on the line, but regardless, as we know, glory is always at the forefront of these players' minds. That's why they showed up here. That's why they're here playing in this grand finale as we do focus our attention forward. The players are getting ready. They're pretty much ready to go. And it does look like we are going to be kicking this off shortly as the GLHFs come out. It is going to be Judgment on the Survivor side, Impact on the Special Infected, and we're actually going to be here at Dead Air to start us off.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I didn't get to see the map veto due to the time restraint that I had at the moment, so unfortunately I just wasn't able to get that part of the game, part of the veto in, but we were able to get the video up. I still feel bad that I kind of butchered it, so at the end we're going to play completely through again the correct way.
Yes.
So I will play the proper one later, or actually I'll play it in between voting from one campaign to the next, so stay tuned.
Okay.
We'll play that one again. I apologize. We'll play it in its full view. I noticed when I did it and exactly what I did wrong, but life happens sometimes, right? And all, you just got to take it what you get.
You got to roll with it. Absolutely. Most important part is we have got our just desserts here. The moment that everyone has been waiting for. The Bloodfest tournament. I mean, this tournament has been going on for months. Literal months. It has been such a slog. And here are the two teams who have made it to the end.
Yep, and Mila has returned, and it looks like we'll get this game live momentarily. Now, there is one thing to note, which we'll talk about as soon as we get these first set of spawns in. And here we are, Grand Final times 8. Who knows how many chapters we're going to get out of this one, but the opening attack will be a 2-2 with a Hunter and the Jockey. Boomer Spittered ready to go in, and that tank spawns up so fast, and they're not going to have time to think. It is going to be the first tank of the game for Impact in the hands of Spooky, as the Hunter flies around, doesn't get anything, 2 boom lands, and shut down. And look at this now. Tank chooses not to go up high because he can't. Being pushed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That is kind of... I was wondering why the SIs didn't go for a more aggressive angle as the survivors walked out, but they were trying to buy time for this tank. Unfortunately, not enough. And we see Spooky. He's not even going to walk up. He's going to walk over to the side. He's down 400 HP. That's just about as good as he could do, I suppose. Maybe could have held that SI hit even a little bit longer, but regardless, 5,600 HP, losing 400 chip, and they are going to go second pass. Looks like it is gonna be in. Spooky climbing through, first tank of our match. Got a lot of pressure, already down to 3,700 as he drops in, and he's not even ready for a smack. He's got a great split, but look at the charger. He's not able to get in there on that split flare, and he makes it all the way through. Okay, he does actually get hit by that charge by Spooky a little bit more time. Smoker coming out as well, as the rock does manage to land on Bill. He's going to go for the decommit at this point. 600 HP as they go for some more curve rock attempts. Really good try by Spooky, but he will eventually go down. No, he's going to be able to toss out one more rock. Surely he goes down at this point. No extra smack, and the survivors continue on. Two players at about half HP, but honestly, they've done a really good job of managing their health.
Yeah, phenomenal job nonetheless. I mean, look at that 75% bonus coming out from Judgment, and the roster will be Roxas, Dridge, Style, and Mila. We'll go over the other side in just a second with a Spitter, Hunter, and the last two spawns, Jockey and a Charger. Ready to go. As soon as his attack goes in, why don't you take away the side for us now?
Okay. Notice that Judgment rush. After that tank, they rushed so fast that the Charger wasn't up. The Charger is up now, but by the time the fourth player got up the ladder, the Charger was already, it was in Ghost form still. Hunter comes out, taking the 1v1 with Bill. In the meantime, Jockey into the charge, into the spit. Hunter does manage to take in the meantime. Double in, down goes Style. Now, I believe you gave the readout for Judgment, so I'll go ahead and handle Impact here. For Impact, we've got the first tank of the game, Spooky. We've also got Chad, Josiah, aka Healy, and also KMY1, aka Kevin.
Yep, vital hit. That last hit did about 14% damage. Oh, they get in, they close the door, and they walk in with 704. And what a statement from Judgment, saying they're here to play Null, putting up 704 points after one on a map with only 300 distance. Very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Judgment, okay, for example, let's talk about Impact. Impact is a team that's been kind of having a lot of turmoil, I would say. They've gone through a lot of different iterations lately. Different team names cycling through. I would say, GOAT, Dynasty, now Impact. It's kind of been a metamorphosis situation for them. These Judgment guys have been around as Judgment for years and years, and they actually kind of went through a dip where they weren't even really placing that well in Swiss at all. So the fact that they made it to the grand finale is a huge up and up moment for them to show they're not washed. They were just taking a little bit of a break, and they put up a massive 704-point score against Impact to kick it off.
Yeah, that is very impressive, I must say. But the one thing we will note first before we do go into the second half of Chapter 1 is that Judgment is in the loser bracket, so they'll have to beat Impact twice if they want to get a victory. So if they lose here, they're out. Impact can lose, and they're safe. But it is going to be the best of three. First tank of the game for Judgment will be in the hand of Roxas, as the Hunter doesn't get skeeted, but became the tank.
Boom finds one. Spitter gets popped and forces them to walk away. Roxas does not choose that to be the moment that he transitions, though. He's actually going to be sitting up top, just like Spooky was. Might have to pay the price in his own blood as a result.
For sure, waiting for the transition. Okay, just gonna drop down the ground. Okay, Impact wasn't paying attention, so he doesn't really pay for that. Alright, this is pretty clean. Only 300. He drops down through the window, and he... Wait, where's he going? Okay.
Yep, I like this.
A little different. Oh, he pays for it, though. That's about 1,400 damage, but it's going to be Judgment's tank. Roxas got to fall through the top. And does so, splits them 2 and 2. Smoker pull, Jockey gets M2. Charger is in, but the tank is by himself now. Oh no, this is not good for Judgment. Tank down to 2,800. Survivors rushing outside now. Now it's getting dangerous. But he throws a rock, and he lands the rock. Pull inside. He takes that punch. Punches him 2. No, he does get a follow-up punch. Will he get the in cap? No, he misses. And no in cap comes out, and Impact will take it even better now than Judgment did.
They will.
Wow.
It was interesting to have no Hunter in the hit. We had a Charger instead, and Charger didn't find value. Also, I might eat my words by saying this, but it seems like neither team is extremely comfortable on dead air. It's not going to be a map that's like constantly in the competitive rotation, probably not constantly in scrim rotation. So they might need a chapter here to, this is the first match of the series as well. So maybe they need a little bit of a warm up. But yeah, kind of a lackluster tank fight to say the least. Splits them 2-2. Smoke pulling the wrong way. Jockey just doing nothing. But we're going to have one more hit here. Charger, Hunter, Boomer, and a Spitter. Maybe for your average Pug game, you're going to get 2 hits out of this. But a team in the grand finales, they understand tempo. They understand that once they mop this up, they are taking safe room. There's no doubt about it. You just hold the W and you are in. Hunter taking the 1v1. Bill not going to find it, but actually not getting that much chip either. Hunter eventually getting dealt with, but hold on. Okay, stumbled, but not in the spit. So they're really not taking anything in the way of damage. And it does look like they are going to be leading this chapter by almost 150 by the time everything is said and done.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to get another hit. You're right. They are going to have a lead, and that's pretty impressive considering how much points Judgment put up. And they're going to have the lead by, wow, 140. I'm flabbergasted now.
140 on the dot. We are going to go to chapter 2. Of course, nothing too crazy happening in chapter 1 regardless, because it is just a 300 distance point chapter. It would have been crazy if something happened during the tank, like an in-cap or maybe even like a tank wipe, obviously, would have resulted in a crazy point difference. But, 140, Impact would be all right with this. The main thing that I'm looking at, MK, is the fact that we have a 24% tank on chapter 2, and an early tank here on chapter 2 is a very different beast than the early tank that we just saw in chapter 1.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You'd figured if you get a tank right out of the safe room that you're going to have like a little bit of a wide open area to deal with it, but not here. You're going to be going into close quarters. That's why I was a little shocked to see this one voted into the grand finals, because this is except for the first chapter, I would say everything else is way infected-sided. Except for maybe a certain tank on Chapter 3 might be easy for the survivors to take. But other than that, this is all infected-sided, so this one's going to be difficult. I think this is where the money's going to be made, for sure, if a tank could wipe here and the other team survives.
Exactly. That is going to be the name of the game. We'll have to see how it plays out. It's possible they both get wiped as well and nothing really happens, so it could be a low-point game. We'll see how it plays out. Charger, Jockey, Smoker, and a Spitter for Judgment as Impact is starting to walk out. No funny business. They're just going to play on the ladder, which is definitely what Impact expects. And this is just a high-risk, high-reward situation. You get the spit spread on the stairwell. Maybe you get a multi-charge. Maybe you get some craziness. Or maybe nothing happens. We'll find out here in a second.
These are good spawns. I think I might rather have the Hunter than that Smoker, in my opinion. But let's see what value they can get from Impact. Smoker tries to get a pull. Here comes the Charger. The Charger misses. The Spit was late, though. And, okay, still sweet. But look at the Spitter Jockey combo, in the bottom. But the Spit spread doesn't go. That's 10% damage. Good opening. And no. MY2K is 1 health above 3 punches. So lucky.
Okay. Yeah, but still, they managed to get 3 players below the 5-punch threshold with that first hit, and they get a 10% on the hit. So I'm going to say that's still a big win for Judgment. They're going to be maybe trying to get a scratch. Smoker comes in. Oh! Okay, he's just going to walk up and chill. Curve rocks. I love it. Lands it.
Oh, it's another one. Nope. Oh, he's in now. Take it away.
In he goes. Looking for doubles. He will find it. Trapping Zoe in the bathroom. That is an invasion of privacy, but you got to do what you got to do. Hunter coming in. Charger as well. Jockey from the side. Not landing. Bill jumps to stumble, jumps it again. He's not getting stumbled by anything, but Drez is still going to get the job done, possibly. He doesn't quite knock Bill out of the window. Hold on, what I thought was a sealed deal is actually going to be Impact with a full survival. Bill not getting knocked out of the window, and yeah, that one double punch, not enough.
Yeah, I was shocked. The Charger took the tank's target. I'm not quite sure what that was about. A little miscommunication happens, but 20% bonus remains. They try to pull forward. They get a little bit of spit damage. Jockey finds a target. Boomer lands. Oh, he's swimming in the spit. Boomer pops on the spitter, and they're going to... No quad. Oh, he pulls him in the spit. And they get all the bonus almost gone there now. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the bonus... And that was a poo, too. So... It does go to show that if you are creative with even the worst hit in the game, you can make something happen. It definitely took a lot of smoke and mirrors. The jockey spawning inside the bathroom in that area, and actually Impact's going to run it forward. This makes sense because they're all bleeding out. Actually, they're going to hang out right here. They're not going to push it too far forward because they're slow. Charge being dealt with. Spit, pre-spit. I like it, but they're all managing to back it up. No one gets stumbled into it. None of the hit lands, and they hold on to this, crumb of bonus. And more importantly, they get the ability to progress through this chapter, but it looks like they're going to slow down for one more hit, possibly.
And they picked the spitter, which, honestly,
Yeah.
I think will help the infected, because there's no more bonus, really. So I don't know if the spitter is really in need much. And then when he kills them, the Charger's going to get melted. Smoker gets a pull. Boomer comes in late, and the Jockey looks like he's just going to hold. Yeah.
Yeah, because Style got picked at the end. That was a spitter. So Impact actually kind of put Judgment in an awkward scenario where they started to push at the very last second before Style got up. And so they sent the hit, but Style wasn't actually ready. And he goes in now. Player goes down. Charger, Hunter, Spitter, and again, we got 8 seconds left for Styles, so gonna have to wait if they want to hit us 4, and this will allow Impact to continue getting some modest distance.
Yeah, they officially make it halfway through on a tank that looked like it was going to be a wipe. Smoker had no chance. Charger gets a fist. Hunter and Spitter, no connect. And it kind of looks like the infected are kind of rushing a little bit.
Yeah, this is the outdoor area, right? This is kind of one of the only safe havens for the survivors. Judgment challenges them on it, but they just weren't that quick with connecting. They were kind of like, the Hunter wasn't really getting the job done. It was kind of slow to get in there. But we've got make it 3 players at 1 HP. Boom comes in, gets 3, gets all 4 of them. Now that there's a huge boom coming out, 3 1 HP survivors, a Jockey and a Smoker. 1 player goes down, and it's, again, just a scratch for both of these other players to go down, but they're perfect with the M2. 2 of them stay alive. Hunter's going to be able to spawn in. We got a Smoker down below as well. Maybe to pull once Lewis gets up. Francis is going to challenge it. Charger comes out. Gets 2 of them. Spooky is dead. He tries to run away as well, but he does get picked out. They're going to be able to pick up Lewis within the Smoker. No smoke. Missing it. Gets picked. And Impact. 3 strong. Gets to continue.
Yeah, how much further is going to be the question. Boomer's going to... Oh, he gets 1, but the pickup already happens. And it looks like they're going to be able to crawl with 3. They get an extra set of pills. 2 sets of pills. Wow, nah. What a bailout.
Yeah, it just goes to show that is why it is so important to not give up in a chapter and to keep pressing forward. One more hit, because you never know when you're going to find those extra set of pills to just keep you chaining through. Lewis is in danger here in the back, but again, it's Bill who is on the low HP, and Bill is kind of he's sandwiched in between the other 2 survivors. So players should take note. This is how you deal with a low HP player. You sandwich him in between your 2 high HP players and just have him block spawns, block random rooms.
And here they come flying. Oh, they pick on the one in the closet, and they get wiped. Nah. So Judgment will be able to end them. Now they're going to have to survive that tank, or they're going to be in quite a pickle.
Yeah, Judgment was already down 150 points. If they get wiped at this 20% tank, then they're going to be down another, I'd say probably 200 points in addition to the 140 they're already down. So this does have the potential to spiral out of control, even though it is a very modest score for Impact. That just reflects how challenging it is to survive the tank and have any gas left in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, no pun intended, but yeah, that's 100% legit. And they're not going to hesitate. Oh, yep, they bait us. I should have known. No, we know we're going to get baited at least one time.
You already know.
But the question is, what is Judgment going to do? Are they going to stay in that room? Are they going to go back to the safe room? Because they cannot push into the bigger room at the end of the hall because the tank's blocking it. So the ideal room is not there. And like you said, when the tank was committing and one survivor almost got punched out the window, that can happen. And that's an instant in cap too as well. So you don't want that to happen. But second side along the way, opening attack is going to be a tri-cap with the spit. And I'm pretty confident in this that they're just going to wait for the fire escape.
I think it's a smart decision. The hit out of Judgment wasn't even really that good, in my opinion, and it still managed to get 10%. So this is a really heavy hit. Tons of potential for spit spreading onto multiple players. Charger, even if he doesn't land, he can stumble multiple players in the spit. This is pretty dangerous for Judgment.
Yeah, no attempt whatsoever from the specials. They'll just wait there. They want to soften them up for the tank. And now comes into play, Nas. What would happen if one more damage would have happened to that survivor when he cornered him? Instead of instead of 4 punches, only would have been 3. That could have changed everything if that happened. But it's Left 4 Dead. It's a game of points. And usually comes down to about 1 sometimes. But wow, they actually spawned the tank. They don't even hit? Okay. I'm puzzled now.
Oh, wow. Judgment played them. It's hard to say if it was Judgment playing them or if it was just an Impact's failure to launch. Either way, they got thrown off guard by the tank spawning in, and Judgment just maybe this was part of the plan. Maybe Impact's like, okay, we're not going to get damage from that. We're probably not going to get damage from the stairwell, but we're going to make it so that you're forced to take the tank in the safe room. This actually could be part of a greater plan from Impact, or it could have just been a misplay. There's only one way to find out, because Chad is about to bring it in.
Ooh. Ooh. I was about to say, no, that would have been sick.
Gotta watch it, yeah. They got rid of their boomer, they got rid of their smoker, so this is going to be a Hunter Jockey Charger. Massive damage potential, huge capping potential, and we're going to see. Take it away.
All right, tank is in the door. He gets his first corner onto Style. Second punch onto Style. One survivor is outside shooting SI. The Charger lands. Oh, this is a lot of damage. The Charger is still not clear. The Hunter, wait, what? He got doubles in the corner. The Jockey lands. The Hunter lands. It's going to be a wipe. No, it's not. Oh, I thought it was going to be a wipe. No, they managed to survive, but how? They were doubled in the corner, and they still live. Incredible.
You pointed out that player who was focusing on the SIs in the doorway. Well, if he gets charged, I mean, it sucks, but he doesn't. You can't get the Hunter, the Jockey inside if he's just sitting there. So I don't know. They got cornered. 2 of them stuck in the corner, double smacks, 4 smacks. And they still survived. I mean, it's bonkers. And not just that, MK. They've still got a third of the bonus left, too. I mean, they're literally better off than Impact was.
Yeah, they definitely are. And they have 2 sets of pills coming up at the end. Remember, Charger will miss the target, pull forward in the spit, gets cleared. That survivor will be able to go forward and start the event while the Boomer and Spitter probably sack into a quad try. If he can get there, he's trying. And, all right, so they're gonna start the event with a little bit less than 300 bonus, but if I'm being honest, Naina, I really don't know if they're gonna be able to hold on to any of this by the end. It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of map to go.
Definitely. It bodes well for them to be able to progress through the chapter if they have that extra, that bonus. But regardless, they could blow it all. In comes the hit. This is a...
Oh!
Dude, he got so... come on. Come on. He puts himself up in that corner, but he almost got scooped out of it and through the window. Got to count their blessings there, but look at that. MK, they still got 200 bonus, and they're going to be able to push it forward. Like we said, if they can just get it through, they're going to get 2 extra sets of pills. And actually, they are quite close to the safe room once they get to those cubicle areas. So this actually does bode pretty damn well for Judgment, as long as they don't blow it on this hit. In comes the Hunter. Boom finds one. They're very split. Hunt, spit. Eventually, Mila gets over it. Drops down. 8 HP left, and he's going to get a head start here.
Yeah, he does. Unfortunately for Judgment, you know, since 3 of the survivors are slow, 2 sets of pills, no matter what they're crawling the rest of the map. But this one survivor is a little overzealous on how separated he is. Yep, he's going to pay for it. Not a fan of what Mila is doing up here.
Yeah.
Hunter's going to be able to cover that, so will the jockey. And spawns aren't really being covered. Smoker whiffs completely. Oh, no, he doesn't. He does get the... Oh, the jockey covers. The damage sneaks through. Yeah, they're not going to have any bonus. No, they're going to lose it all.
Sure, but I mean, this shut down a quad. It was actually kind of smart that they get the quad. He goes down anyways, but he was already going to go down. They get the 2 sets of pills. They're actually holding on to one of those sets. No, Driss, let's go ahead and pop it. Roxas is going to be dragged along, but still, all they have to do is make it through this cubicle and then one more, and they've gotten full distance. There's still 200 distance. That's a lot of points available. That would put them in the lead if they were able to make it. Yeah, Roxas goes down, but that was expected. He was the sandbag for the team. They were like, yeah, go ahead and go down. As long as our other players don't lose their temp health, we're good to keep going through these cubicles.
Yeah, and the crawl continues. He is now BMW, or BMW, BNW. So unfortunately, they might stack on him, so they have to protect Roxas, and Roxas is Bill, so Bill should stay in the middle of the survivors. Let's see if they do so. And when they come up here, though, they can't really do much. And no, look at the good job they're keeping Bill against, not from, keeping him away from the doors. Good job by them. Keeping him in the middle. Spawn's coming in, Charger right up the back. They run it backwards. Jockey latches on. Going to get cleared. Spit is... Oh my goodness! What just happened? That spit got everybody, and Roxas is dead.
Okay.
Roxas is dead. He put in a huge effort for his team, though. They've only got about 70 bonus or distance left to claim. They're able to pick up 2 players and keep it going. And that's the most important part, because if you look at the score, they are about to pass up Impact. It's a 10-point game right now. Close as it can get after 2 chapters of Dead Air. But who's going to be leading? Is it going to be Judgment or Impact? 3 points left. Jockey lands, but it gets killed, and that should be a free ride for Judgment into the safe room and into the driver's seat as we go into chapter 3.
For a minute, I was wondering if they were gonna tie or get 1 point short and then just not make it on purpose, so they didn't have to go first.
I wondered that too. But they chose not to do it. I suppose if they did do that, maybe the jockey could forcibly carry him across the finish line there. But regardless, we are going to have a lead of 15 points in favor of Judgment as we go to Chapter 3. And Chapter 3 is kind of an iconic chapter for me. But to kind of cover Chapter 2 for a second, one thing I wanted to talk about is it's kind of crazy that you get 200 points through the cubicle area like that. I mean, that's a ton of points, and it doesn't feel like it's that long of a travel through that area. That's an interesting little note there on Dead Air. 2/5 of the points available just through that tail end of the cubicle. But we are going to go ahead and load into Chapter 3, 77% tank, which is an interesting one for sure. Quite possibly going to be a long tank. We'll probably see the survivors back it up towards the electricity area. Tank is going to try to bring in some hitables. He's got the forklift. Maybe try to bring in a dumpster or two. Maybe try to play Roca. We'll have to wait and see. But of course, before we get there, we've got this hit, which can be trouble. But they don't have a spitter. It's just going to be a smoker charged with jockey and a boom.
And I don't think that's necessarily the worst for this scenario. If you get a boomer, you don't want a hunter. So you have all the separation possible. And it would be
Right.
perfect to get that one boom and grab everybody, but it's very unlikely to happen. The boomer in the fire room. Charger does latch on, pull forward. The jockey
Wow.
doesn't cover, but the damage comes out, and that is going to be almost 10%. And Impact fired back saying, take the lead. Well, we're going to take about 9% from the gate from you on Chapter 3. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and I think that's another teachable moment for players. The boom spawns into the fire, but he doesn't do anything. He just chills there. He brings the eyes upward, and then the hit comes in downward. And so it catches him off guard. Boom still gets in for 2. And also, quite importantly, is it doesn't die first or second. So now we've got a great follow-up hit. Hunter Charger, Jockey Spit, which they're actually going to send in right now. They're going to try to find Zoe. It's kind of a strange time to send it, but I guess they have just enough time to be able to do it, and Zoe does get hit by the Hunt Spit. The issue is the follow-up hit isn't going to be too crazy, and it's at a very high-impact spot, but they might be able to squeeze in another hit before that happens. I don't know.
Yeah, they were late on shooting the can for sure and all, so I think the infected get a chance. Oh, no, they're just going to sack.
I am
Is that
pretty
quad,
sure
though?
that
Quad, right?
I'm almost certain that this boom is actually going to give them a spitter.
Oh, it
I
is?
could
Okay.
be wrong
okay.
on that. I could be wrong on that. I think it's good either way. You get a quad or you get a charged smoke jock spit. It's kind of weird to say because usually the spit's dying last.
Oh,
It is the quad. It's actually the
Ooh.
quad.
Reloading.
Now the question is, Null, does Judgment know it? You know? Do they know the
Yeah.
quad is incoming? Because it's a little scary if you're in those alleys and all the infected are going to fall on top of you. If anybody misses their shot, it can be over just like that.
Yeah, even just something as simple as a player getting stumbled. You know, a jockey lands on the head, stumbles a player or two because they didn't jump and they were too close. That could set up for the charge. That could set up for the smoke hunt. That could seal the deal. Much less a charger hitting multiple people, which is also a very big possibility. That would completely unravel the survivors. So this quad is definitely not standard to see a quad here. We're usually going to see the spit because, you know, spit spread through the alleyway. It can be huge, but this definitely has potential here for impact.
And now it's going to be time for the quad. The question is where, and I don't think it's going to come out
Right.
to the elbow of the alley. I would say they don't want any survivor to be able to run inside any of these rooms. As soon as they're in the
Yes.
room, the quad's over. You might get a 2-cap,
Right.
and you need a miracle to get them all. And I do think they know it. Look at Judgment moving from room to room, trying to make sure they're always in. So as soon as they go around this corner, oh, they go early, and it's gonna be, oh my gosh, a charger! It's a rolling tri-cap! Oh my, and they get quadded! Oh my goodness, Impact! 9-all. I am flabbergasted. What did we just witness?
The smoker dropping in was crazy stuff, and it didn't land. And so you might think, oh, that's the end of the road. But the crux was exactly what I warned Judgment about, which is the fact that the multi-charge is just going to end the round as it stands. And indeed, that charger got, I think, 3 people, which allowed the smoker plenty of time to get the smoke back up and to catch that player. It gave the jockey plenty of time to drop in on a player's head without getting M2'd away. And that is the round, despite all of the monumental effort that Judgment put in to get a 15-point lead after Chapter 2. It's in danger of being completely undone here. I mean, this tank isn't a massive threat, MK. Like, this is very, very dangerous territory here for Judgment.
Yeah, suffering that quad was devastating. I mean, they need to kill Impact and stay in this, because
Yeah.
Dead Air 4 is not the easiest chapter to make up points on at all. Depending on where the tank spawns, of course. If it's late, then you have a better chance. But if it's early, it's in a room. And I love I love to be a tank when you
Just
walk
a
into a
room
room.
tank.
You can't
Yeah.
ask for anything more,
Yeah.
you know. But all right. Oh my goodness, the boomer! Oh, it's the double cap. Oh, the 2 slams, no 1 slam. Back into the safe room. Oh, he's going for a ride. One infected.
Could have been more. If that smoker could have got in, but Driss is back in the server. He's still got the smoker ready for next time, next go around. He's gonna have a spitter They join him in. I think there will be a boom since that quad boom did come out, but it was pretty nasty. 8 seconds left to find out. They're actually not going to wait at all. They're going to send a segmented hit. The Smoker's going to go down. The Hunter's going to get skeeted. Spit's not going to find anything. The Judgment I guess they didn't care about waiting for Style because they knew he was going to be the boom. He does get a nice little triple boom. Will it be important that he landed that triple boom? Probably not, but it's there.
Yeah, actually, I still cannot believe that opening a charger and boom were sick. That was what a play. But let's see if they could follow up with a full hit now with all of their teammates at the same time. This will be the first time they try, and it's going to be a quad, and they just sack their quad.
Yeah.
And Judgment's fumbling the bag a little here.
They're going to sack their quad. So this gives them a spitter, which gives them a Hunter Jockey Charger spitter, which is exactly what they want for the post-event area. It may be really alluring to say, anything you can do, I can do better, right? If you're on the side of Judgment, say they quad us, we can quad them. But at the same time, if you're playing strategically for the highest potential damage per hit, you're going to sack the smoke, you're going to get the spitter, and you're going to sit right here and you're going to wait for them to walk across. That is the highest potential or highest likelihood of getting big damage. That quad, it's hardly guaranteed.
Yeah, and we're going to wait here a little bit while. There's no chance for a special infected attack right now until all these commons are cleared, because if they go, the survivors go, and they will be denied their alley hit. So I think the best case scenario for Judgment here would be to get maybe 15-20% damage on this alley hit. The wipe's not going to be physically possible, and they need to be able to kill him with the tank. If they don't kill him with the tank now, I think they're going to lose dead air and go down 0-1.
The finale of Dead Air has always given us... Oh, wait! We might not even have finales on... given that this is a best of 3, I guess that's a bridge that we can cross when we get there. But more importantly, Hunter, Jockey, Charger, Spitter. Judgment has been waiting so long for this hit, and you know what kind of happens when you wait forever for a hit? It usually doesn't work. You know, you're waiting so long to send it in, you got the perfect choke point, and you know, you get iced a little bit by sitting around, by doing nothing. We'll see if Judgment is going to get iced here around this corner. They waited out, like you said, making sure that they can't dodge back into any side rooms or anything like that. Going to force them to eat the whole hit. It comes the Charger, not quite finding 2, but we'll find 1 with the walls. Plenty of knockdowns, 2 into the spit as well. And yeah, it's going to be, what, like 10%, I guess. Pretty big hit onto Healy, aka Josiah. But they still have 1,000 bonus, and they're already leading the game.
I think they're going to get, what, 200 more before tank, maybe? A 200 lead?
Right.
I think. Yeah, they still got 27% left to go, so they're going to get quite a bit more points. They only have a 2-2 retro support with a spit. And I think they should go pretty quick here. It's not the greatest. Hunter probably going to get skeeted. Yeah.
Ooh.
Beautiful shutdown.
God.
Impact's on point today, no. They're blasting the Hunters out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really sucks. When you're at the pinnacle of play, a lot of it does come down to aiming. Don't get me wrong, strategy is a huge thing. Of course, understanding the game, understanding the campaign, it's massive, but aiming and using your clip is very important. And these top teams kill Chargers, kill Hunters, kill anything with insane TTK. Another hit's going to come in. They're going to drop it in. Charger not going to get cleared by the time it connects with the wall. They're actually going to get a double cap in the spit, which is huge for Judgment. But, you know, when you're eyeing down Judgment, or rather Impact having landed a quad and sent you packing and rotted you in the dirt, you know, losing 150 bonus, it's kind of like, all right, I mean, it's pretty good, but none of them pop pills. Chad is going to go ahead and pop. They're going to start walking back, and the tank's going to be in the hands of Mila. Got a lot of work to do. He's not going to go for hitables. Triple boom! Hold on, he could just run it through. Charger goes in as well. There's a forklift inside this very room. He's going to try to trap him in. They're going to be able to get out. Double smack. Zoe getting 1 smack. Smoker waiting, trying to hit her torch, trying to kill her off. Going to go ahead and finish her. 3k HP left for Mila as he's got Zoe on a silver platter here with the forklift. She's dead.
Oh! That would rip it around the corner, dog. You see that? Okay, this is a saving grace for them. They got to kill, but they do have to get rid of all this bonus. They can't let him make it 3 with 126. I think they still need to get this wipe here. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it, but Mila is going all the way back and getting to the high ground, but unfortunately not going to be able to hold on to that first pass.
Hey, MK, I talked about aiming being so important. I said, strategy is important too, but aiming so important. Well, Josiah did not pop his pills on the run back, and Josiah is a player who's now dead. Shows you just how important those micro decisions are. Tank is going to come back in. Mila, 2k HP with the triple cap ready. Nothing is landing, though. Hunter will eventually land. Jockey losing the 1v1. And they are down! It is going to be a lead of just over 200 points in favor of Impact. They go down, and Judgment, against all will, against all hopes, manages to get back in this game.
I have to pee real quick, so I will be right back. What a wipe. BRB.
I can't blame you for that. As we go into Chapter 4, we'll see what the tank percentage is at. And, of course, we've also got the potential finale looming over our head. Would be nice to know if finales are a thing or not, because a lot of the times best of threes don't have finales, but at the same time, this is a grand finale. So it's hard to say for sure if this is going to be the last chapter or not. It's going to be a 54% tank, which is kind of just out in the middle of nowhere. Very high potential for finishing this chapter with bonus, which means it's absolutely either player's game. The bonus swings can be huge. We'll see. First hit of the game going to be a Hunter Jockey Spitter Boomer. Impact going to be leading the way, but they can't get too comfortable because they don't have much of a cushion at all. This first hit, it isn't the scariest hit as they come out. Just going to be a 2-cap. They're going to try to get something quick. Try to get a Hunter, chain it with a spit, and maybe try to get a Jockey Scratch, maybe a Boom Stumble. That is the name of the game. Hunter spawns in. Jockey does as well. Jockey tries to bring their attention over to one end of the Enclave. Hunter on the opposite end. They know they got to hit this Hunter. Boom comes out on the lead shotgun. Missing the first ski, but the Hunter's kind of awkward there, and he does eventually, and he gives himself so much time to get mopped up there. Spitter, I don't know if the Spitter or the Jockey died first, but one thing is for sure, this Boom's going to die last, and they will continue on, only taking 0.6% from the first hit.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Good shutdown by Impact. I think they'll be happy with that. Judgment won't be, of course. They probably want a little bit more damage than that. With Driss just getting 2 breadsticks on the screen. And look at this Smoker in the back going early, and they just hold W. They don't even wait for it.
Wow.
And I don't know about that Charger going solo, and that attack is pretty melted, but they have to walk through the spit. Not as much as I thought it was going to be, though.
And the reason why this W, this tempo play from Impact was so strong is because the Spitter wasn't quite up yet. Sure, they have 3 cappers. I personally think they could have just sent in that hallway, but Impact puts them in a catch-22 situation. Judgment decides to hold for the spit. They get a couple percentage points. It's pretty good, but less than 5% after 2 hits. Isn't that amazing? Jockey lands, but that's it. Now they're looking at 91.6% after 3 hits, which is still, in my opinion, a pretty big net win here for Impact, as the pressure isn't that deep from Judgment yet.
Nope, there was a misplay here and all. I got to call it out. There was a misplay. This tank is at 54%. If you walk up to the fence, it's 54%. If you spawn this tank and then hit the button, no comments will spawn. So Judgment can skip all of this right here. So this is all extra damage. They're not getting a lot of value out of it, and they're not hitting together that great right now. The Smoker went solo. The Charger couldn't find any. They're still going to go with just 3. Yeah, it's going to get skeeted. It's probably not going to get anything. And no, just an attack kind of throw it in the water, to be honest with you, now.
Well, it's not like Impact takes a ton of damage, but they did take 5% from that escapade running down below and etc. Okay, Tank now spawns in the hands of Style. Gonna have his work cut out for him. And, I mean, this is just like the classic roster, right? Style was throwing me off for a bit, but I think he just originally had 1 E in his name, and he added a second. I mean, Style, Mila, Roxas, Driss, these are the boys. They love playing Left 4 Dead 2 together, and they're really good at it. They get the insane skeet. You know, don't get me wrong, Impact shutting it down. Will the power of friendship here for Judgment be enough to do something, or is Impact going to hold on to this 1,000 bonus?
Yeah, I think if they walk in with 50%, no, it's too much for Judgment. It's going to be hard. And this is an open tank area. This is the one that's much better for the survivors.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say pretty standard to get one in cap here, and they got to be able to pull something out. And they got a boomer. They're going to go for more damage. They're going to get 2. Oh, and a punch. Oh, 2 punches. All right. All right. Charger flexing a little bit there, and I'll soften him up for the tank.
And again, this is kind of a high-level trade-off here between Judgment. Judgment recognized our next hit is garbage. You know, the Charger, the Boomer. We don't want any of this. But actually, I think they killed off the charge first, so that might be coming back. Let's find it. Hunter Smoker Jockey is what they get. This was 100% planned by Judgment. Style had to trade his health in for this situation to happen, but he's made it happen. He's going to roll it in. He's going to split them up. But the SIs are waiting, and I don't know. I don't feel like that's great. I feel like we could have got a double, or we could get a triple cap just like that. Smoker getting plenty of damage. He misses the E-Rock. Are you kidding me? The pressure is too much for him, and this is just going to be it. He gets one more smack, but he's dead. Oh, ooh.
I cannot believe the tank. No, the tank just had to get his own corner. His support was superior. It was a tri-cap, and it wasn't even a rolling tri-cap. It was a perfect tri-cap.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any more beautiful than that, and the tank just couldn't catch his guy. And they're going to be able to make this map with probably half the bonus. And I don't know if Judgment's going to be able to mirror this. No, they need to really get something big before it's safe for him.
Yeah, I mean, they've got something here. Charger around the corner with the spitter, but the Smoker just walks in and dies. They're just going to get a stumble with the charge. And now that this hit is done, I mean, there's no spitter and there's no charger. And they threw away one of the last choke ones. So, in my opinion, this is basically they rolled them up and they smoked them here. Because there's one more hit, but it's going to be like a Hunter, Boomer, Jockey, and a Smoker. And I think Impact should definitely be able to shut this down.
Yeah, even if they have a quad, this is just not the area to get any damage. There's no spawns above. Everything's got to walk in.
Yeah.
So good luck if you got the Charger. They don't got it, which is probably beneficial for them. Smoker will land. And nothing's covering. Hunter was a little late. Jockey's late. Jockey will latch. And Impact's going to walk in with over 50% now. I think they're going to lock in dead air.
This is what you called 50%. You said that would be enough for them to lock this match up. Now keep in mind, this means that Judgment not only needs 53.2%, but they need 53.2% plus about 200, right? So they need quite a bit of bonus here. The tank, we saw the tank almost be a no-hitter though, and Impact ate a tri-cap. So if Judgment smooths it out, you know, something miraculous could happen, but we're very potentially looking at a 1-0 lead for Impact at the end of Dead Air.
Well, I did the math, and I know what they need, and they need a miracle. They need 809 bonus to tie the game. That's just the tie. So they're going to need 812 to take the lead and win this. The tie is just not feasible. And here we go. Opening attack will be Hunter, Boomer, Spitter, Jockey. They'll have 1,100, and they need 809 of that.
Right. They need perfection through here. The Hunters have to get skeeted, and the Hunters didn't get skeeted. The Boomer was fun, but don't get me wrong. We love some boom antics. Get some double boom still. But, you know, the main course there, MK, was the fact that he ate the Hunter, he ate the Spitter. And if you're trying to get massive amounts of bonus, you can't be eating the 1-2.
No, and you can't let the Fat Man be a distraction. If the Fat Man just falls down in the background, just let him go.
Yeah.
Because they were paid.
Let him go.
Right? Oh, they're going to get a little 2-cap. Charger misses, but this is very slow clearing. There's a lot of commons everywhere, and they just melted away their chances to win. That's pretty much GG now. What is that, 100 and some points? That's it? They have left? Like 130 to spare? Not even that.
Cushion left at all. Even if Impact just got a couple, even if they got a no-hitter tank, if they just snuck in a couple scratches here and there, that would be enough. But of course, let's see the hit first. We're gonna have a Hunter, Charger, Jockey, and a Boomer. Hunter hopping through. Charger and Jockey both rocket. Nice little Hunter skeet. He still gets caught by the wall charge, and he cashes him out for another 10 damage. But in pay, we got some matters to attend to. The first one of which is do we have finales available here for the players?
No, not for this.
Okay.
Not for the best of 3. I'm in the grand finals, in my opinion. I would be all about it. I said it is the best of 3. You play all the chapters if they choose. Right. That would be my opinion, but I know that they don't do that. Smoker will get a pull. Jockey will take him. Oh, they get him in the spit too with a body block. Okay. A little flex on Roxas, and they almost got the game locked in.
And if you know, if you just play center and Pug, you might not know this, but the Dead Air finale is crazy as far as comeback potential. So the fact that they number one, they've lost, but number two, not having that comeback potential, that made this whole situation a lot more dire for them. We are going to have the tank in the hands of Kevin, and he's just going to be getting it done. That's pretty much that. My question is, what campaign we got after this?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I'm flabbergasted.
All right.
I didn't make it that far, unfortunately.
Okay.
Like literally, when I set up all my stuff here, I was compiling the RBT video, and I forgot to check the last part, and I didn't zoom out, so failed by me. But they're pretty epic, and it's recorded too. And no, they have exactly how much bonus they need. That's it. Wow.
That is it. Yeah, that's it. They can call it. I did pull up. It looks to me like our next campaign, as Kevin goes ahead and finishes it off, gets a nice little end cap. Gonna try to, gets Roxas within one smack of an end cap as well. And it looks like after this, we're gonna be added to Hard Rain Downpour.
This is not looking good for them, now. They might. Okay, they can't do anything. Thought for a minute there it might have been a white possibility, but I don't know anymore. The Boomer will land. The Rock comes out. Smoker pull. Rock misses. Nope.
Give him the wipe. Come on, Judgment. Give it to him. He earned it.
Came
a little bit of a lull in the action here as we do wait for this to finish up. Kevin playing with his food a little bit, and Judgment not willing to throw in the towel. I respect the hell out of this, by the way. The fact that they're going to play it all the way through. They don't care about looking at the score and seeing blah, blah, blah. They're going to play first, ask questions later. I respect the hell out of that. Kevin sneaks in a beautiful little rock, which buys him some more time. But the shotgun player goes in, and they do manage to finish him off.
Tank Eagle, bye-bye. And so does their bonus. They were at about 900 and change, down to 274. And the tanks of Impact just seem to be too much for Judgment to take. I mean, they don't wipe every chapter and all, but they just do enough that they just can't keep the Delta within striking range. And a good example is here. If they walk in with this, they're still going to be down a couple hundred.
Yep. There we go. Smoke charge. Oh! Trying the spit block, but it will still spread to Lewis. At least he doesn't stumble himself through that spit. But Impact putting on a clinic for us here, showing how you do it. And I mean, the higher you get in this tier of play, the more often you want to stack a single player. You can't really be super greedy and go for the multi-caps. You got to overwhelm a single player, keep him in that spit, and that's exactly what Impact is doing.
As Judgment gets to the top of the escalator, it is going to be a quad coming in. Oh my goodness! Not again, no! I get a little too excited. I thought they might flex too. But what an Uzi skeet. 9 shots onto K-Mai.
Yeah.
Roxas says, nah, you quad us once today, my friend, but not another.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll find out if that's the case or not. We still got plenty of Left 4 Dead 2 to play. And we know one thing is for sure: when the top teams come together, anything can happen. Truly, when players elevate their level, they can throw these teams off. It's still anyone's series, but it is going to be Impact going up 1-0 as the survivors limp their way through. They do make it into the safe room. They don't throw in the towel, but clearly not enough bonus to finish the job.
No, none of. Indeed, you are correct, Null. But without any hesitation, we're going to go to the next campaign. So, without ado, here is the proper trailer for RBT. Sorry, give me a minute, guys.
In the dead of night we gather round, ready to fight, no time for backing down. A hunter's howl, a tank's roar. This is the really big tournament, we're ready for more. With the smokers grasp, the jockeys ride, and the chargers charge. We navigate through the chaos, side by side. The spitter's venom, the boomer's bile, will conquer the rumble mile by mile. It's the really big tournament, let the battle rage. We're the survivors, left for dead. We'll fight till the end, we won't be wiped. Yeah.
Okay, I hate to cut you off, but they're going chapter 5. They're going chapter 5. I'm hold on. And Mila hitting the hittable in, but it doesn't land.
Right now, they are commons everywhere. There are so many zombies. There's dumpsters flying through the sky. This is just pandemonium. I cannot believe we won chapter 5. So
I know, right?
I will play the RBT song then. Oh my goodness. There's nothing they can do. Oh, they're gonna eat a dumpster. Oh my goodness, this is huge. Judgment desperately needed this. They're going to kill a survivor. There's too many comments for them to deal with. And that is a dead spooky. And this tank is 4,500 HP. The RBT song hyped them up so much that they're trying to make a comeback here. Oh, they kill the smoker. The tank is killing all of his help. He wants better support. So he's killing more than just his survivors. He is also killing that.
That is crazy. He wants his SIs to get a respawn here to be able to come from a new angle. And the reason why this kill is so huge, oh my god, so close again. The chance that the survivors make it all the way through this finale is actually quite high. So the fact that Spooky is dead is really bad for Impact. There's a hunter, there's a jockey, there's 8 seconds left for Driss, but the tank is running it in. He doesn't care. I guess there's a boomer, so he's just like, send it. Hunter lands. Can he get the follow-up? No. Jockey dead too. Smoker pool. It's cut. Kevin is on top of it, but he doesn't account for the common waiting behind him to give him a smack. And Mila does manage to lock in one more, going for the hittable. No good. One more shot. And he does go down.
And I'm sorry, I was actually on the wrong screen for a while, but the good thing about it is for all the people that missed it, I did have Shadow Play on, so I will get it onto YouTube.
Yes!
So I actually prepared for this just in case this happened. I have a 10-minute Shadow Play in emergencies, and it's going to work out here. Boomer gets popped. I apologize for the fans, but we did have our voice commentary. We did not miss that, so.
Yeah, well, hey, we all got thrown off. We thought that there were no finales, and I thought that made sense, but Chad literally asked, he said, can we go 5th chapter? And Pepinia said, yeah, go. So it was kind of an exception being made. And yeah, so that completely threw us off guard. But we did manage to have a recovery. You didn't miss too much. All you missed was a dumpster land on Spooky's head after he got smoked. It was pretty damn straightforward. It was amazing execution by Judgment. They're going to sit in a quad. They're going to find two with the Hunter as well. And the Smoker and Impact is done. They've only managed to get 2,800 points in a chapter that has a ton of points, an absolute like 800 points. I mean 800 points, and they only got 156.
No, they just need 20 points. They need 20 bonus. 20 bonus. They need 20. Getting 800 right on top of this will put them at 2794. So that will make them, what, 17 points behind? That's all they need. They just need a set of pills. That's all they need. One set of pills, no bonus. That's enough to get the victory. So that means we might go 15 chapters. No, we might see 15 chapters. We could see, who knows, 18 tanks. I don't even know what campaign's next. Or afterwards, the third one. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we could have Pacify, so we could have 7 more.
Now, there is one thing. Of course, they not only have the 4 pills that they start with, but they also have 4 pills on the ground. So if they waited, if they just made sure that no one picked up that final set of pills, that could get them the last 20 bonus that they need, because each pill is worth way more than 20.
Oh man, this is ballsy. No, they're gonna stay in here.
That's really crazy. Eats a rock in a single boom. Not a great way to start this off, and the smoke comes out. He almost eats another one. Tries it again.
I don't know, What do you think about this? Lining up in the safe room. I don't know if I'm a fan of this. They got to do a single file line to make sure no doubles happen.
This is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. They're going to try to maximize their chip. They got players crouching forward. It's like the Revolutionary War once more. Tank is going to go ahead and climb in and take away MK.
Alright, he is in. Oh, and he takes the first punch. They body block him. They body block him again. Oh, the charger comes in. Oh, everything's landed. It's pandemonium. The tank's punching everybody. He's almost dead, though. They're going to live. And they'll suffer 2 in caps, and Driss loses almost everything. And that is devastating for Judgment, in my opinion. No, I think that's too much damage. They got to go the rest of this campaign and the rest of this chapter and kill another tank. Can they do it, or did they take too much?
Did they do that because of the spit? Like, they just felt like they couldn't progress through the spit? Or, like, because, I mean, the truth is, we know that tank's not that scary. Like, you get rid of you dodge the hittable, and the hittables are usually out of play, and you're just like lumbering around with the tank, just like walking them down. So I'm kind of shocked that Judgment chose to go with this unless they were forced into that decision. But they do make one thing for sure. They make sure that they don't have a player who's going to get grinded out by a hittable, whereas Impact, didn't have that same plan. So we'll see if it helps them out. They don't have to have a ton of bonus, like we said. They just have to limp across the finish line with 1 set of pills in their hand, and they're good to go.
Ooh, no, there's a quad coming, and they fell to one before. Oh my goodness, not again though. They'll get some good value out of it, and the jockey might get an in cap.
Dude.
Oh my goodness, Judgment. Very sloppy now.
It is. It is. When we've usually watched these dead air grand finales, the damage isn't getting through at all. Like, you're lucky to land something, just like one thing every other hit. And they just ate like a tri-cap. I mean, they ate plenty of damage from 3 different SIs, and they're bleeding out for sure. They're running through the pills like they're drinking water. They do still have 2 pills set up on the ground. But yeah, this is kind of the danger zone. They're going to send in the smoker. Hunter wasn't quite lined up with it. They try to get a hunt spit. No, that's not going to work. It is another quad.
It looks like they're going to they're going to purposely not kill him. Which I do believe in Bloodfest, you can't. So, yeah. I'm pretty confident now that you can't do that in Bloodfest. You're not allowed to spec out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you actually have to wait a really long amount of time. I forget the rule because I saw the penalty come forward before. But The tank is dead, and they've lost about what? They had 41% bonus down to 26. They're doing an okay job, but they're out of drugs. And here comes another attack right now. It's a quad coming in. The smoker gets self-cleared. Charger will miss. Jockey and Hunter are successful again. And that's a pretty good cleanup. That was a little better.
It was, but they're still letting the damage through. If they don't pop these, they're out of pills. There's no more pills on the ground. So if they pop these last 3 set of pills, they have no way to get bonus back. So this is a very dangerous situation, and we still got a tank.
I think they got 2 more hits and then tank goes. And that's not good for them, because this tank is going to play as long as it can.
Yes, bleed him out. Make him slow. Wow.
Another quad. Yeah, they're going to go quad every other hit. This will be what they're... No, they're not going to get it. This is it, no. This is it. This is the final tank of this map. And this is what? This is the 6th tank of this tournament match.
Sure is. Okay, I thought that they would try to chip Healy more than they did. There were no SIs up, but they just let him walk through. Look at the jockey challenging the 1v1, and he gets away with his life, but the jockey does too. Hunter Smoker with the rock game. Play it slow. This is not good here. Smoker pull. Trying to get the clear. They're eventually going to get it. Rock gets cleared, but Healy's sitting here with first pass, 90% frustration, not getting LOS, and 99% HP as well.
I don't feel so hot.
Yeah, I think they need an LOS like crazy.
That's the game plan. Look how far they're walking it back. Taking it to Egypt over here. Egypt airs.
I thought he was going to run back through the fire or something for me there. He wanted to light it up a little bit, but he's not. He dumpster flying? I don't know, no. What do you think of this?
I mean, the hittables are... I mean, we got one player kind of wedged, but this is not great for Healy. 4,500. Jockey, Hunter, and a Charger. No Smoker. They drop down. They're barely making it through. They don't have to make it through with that much. They just have to survive. They popped all their pills, though. So if they do run out of bonus, then they're done. The smack comes out. Tank is 2k HP left. Look at Chad. That's it. That's it. Okay, Charger fall. Is it, though? They still on 99 bonus. It's the HB, MK. They have to kill Bill. They might kill Bill 3. They have to kill him. Otherwise, they are going to be able to walk in with over 20 bonus, over the magical number. Bill is the only one who matters at this point. They have to take him out. 600 HP left on Healy, aka Josiah. Sure, they're finding a player. They're here and there. They're catching him out. But it's not Bill.
Oh, now that...
Jockey!
Finish it off now, you man. My bad.
Josiah is out of time. 400 HP left. Is out of frustration. Second pass. He goes for a YOLO hittable, but again, is the target Bill? It's not. And they're going to be able to walk it into this helicopter and end it there. Wait, it's not quite done yet, though. It's actually not quite done yet. They're going to pick up. We've got another hit before it ends.
And they all got to make it. They all got to go in and all. They can't just make it with one. They need to make it everybody in that distance. Oh my gosh, this is what it's going to come down to. The last hit, and it's going to be a tri-cap with a spitter. Oh, I cannot believe it comes down to the final attack. This is the craziest ending I've ever seen on a dead air map. One survivor in. Here comes the attack. Smoker pull. Oh, he gets pulled. They're not clearing him.
51, 36,
they did it. Judgment fumbled the bag. Oh my gosh.
He is Bill, the last one in. He gets smoked. It doesn't get cleared. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
And Judgment has let this game slip through their fingers. How are they going to mentally recover from this loss? Maybe they're regretting sending it to Chapter 5 at this point, or maybe it's reinvigorated them. Either way, they need to bring that energy back to Hard Rain Downpour. Will they have it ready? I don't know. It's going to be a bit. just long enough for maybe a video.
Never a dull
Looks
moment
like
in
we're
Left 4
about
Dead.
to hop into it.
And here we go. Another 5 chapters of Left 4 Dead, and let's have one of the legends start us off with the first hit. All you, Rails.
All right, well, this is Hard Rain Downpour, and we know what that means. That means that the Survivor team has to be careful of that death charge. Let's see how the Infected do this. The Jockey's going to go in, and the Charger is as well, but they are not even going to get a charge spit off of that. I thought it might be really insane for a hot second there, but the Survivors clear everything. And how about we kick it over to 9 for a roster rundown?
All right, yes, for Judgment, we are going to have Driss, Roxas, Mila, and Style as they start off their Survivor side.
All right, for Team Impact, we have Chad, Spooky, Healy, and K-Mai. It looks like we're not going to have a car hit. But as they do this transition over to the trailer, we're going to have a tank at 55% of the map. It'll be a Healy tank. But the Survivors will slow up and clear out these commons. And 9 what do you think? Do they hit on the transition over or try to throw them off?
Oh, well, they're going to hit, but this is actually really interesting. Okay, I mean, it works out. I was thinking maybe they hold. I was kind of on the same wavelength as you. But they just go ahead and send it. They didn't really have the spit. They didn't have anything going. 10% until the tank comes in. He was playing under the name Josiah during Dead Air, but he has kind of swapped back over to Healy. Same player. What's the plan for Judgment? Walking it back? Holding it forward? Keeping it here?
They need to not get hit by a car during the transition.
Yeah.
That's the main thing here, whether it's this or the regular Hard Rain, right? It's like the hittables are pretty much everything. Healy, though, is good enough a player, and I've seen his name in countless, high-tier, top-tier matches, right? He'll know that, and the Survivors are probably going to play it around the play area here, but I always like seeing if people got too greedy for chip exactly what could happen in a random hittable bounce. That could happen in any stage of any tournament anywhere, MK, as we know all too well.
Oh, yes. I am known for eating hittables at a regular time, just whenever they're out there. I like metal. What can I say? It's in my appetite.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. They're going to try to push this. Can they cut off the tank? Oh, the tank gets a punch on it. It's a charge. He's got his corner. He gets another punch on to Nick. Eats him out the door. The Jockey gets shut down. The Hunter lands, gets cleared. It won't be a wipe. I think it's going to be a 1 in-cap tank. Oh, he's still healthy. Rails, look at his health. 4,400 HP.
Okay, so this turned absolutely insane in a really short amount of time. That's another punch there going out onto Coach, but he still has just about 3k HP. They're going for the pickup on Driss back inside. Hank isn't really in the position to do much about that, but this has turned absolutely chaotic. But now we do have that actual smoker pole managing to land for a hot second for another in-cap, but I don't think he actually has time to do much off of that. He has 2k HP, can't quite kill him, but then the Charger's gonna land as well. Because this is what happens to everyone watching and to everyone in the Left 4 Dead 2 world when you go forward with a hit-up. And all of this happened because the Survivors decide to try to push forward. I was trying to keep my mouth shut when MK was talking about it because they're going to get a kill onto Rochelle here at the very least, but this should actually be a wipe as the Jockey is going to try and clean it up. The M2 does land, but for the life of me, I don't think I could actually believe they were trying to do that with because they said, okay, if we get to the forward area, we're going to be able to make the map with 1,500 HP. But honestly, guys, I think they're a little bit too forward thinking there. And the main rule that I would say is just don't, like I mentioned the hittable during the transition, but having a hit up as well can end in disaster. And that is unfortunately what we just saw.
Yeah, that's fortunate. What do you think, Noel?
You have to... I feel like this was a really disrespectful play from Judgment. Like, it works if it works, but you're disrespecting one of the best teams in the game. Sometimes you have to make disrespectful plays, but in that situation, it was like there was kind of the margin for error was pretty large for Impact. They just decided to just YOLO it in. And what was Judgment even getting from that? Like, they were already in the playground. Sure, the car was in, but it's tough to navigate a hittable through that playground. You're not definitely getting an in-cap just because you hit the car in the playground. You've got all these little things to run around. So it's an extremely questionable play from Judgment for me. And in my opinion, they need the wipe now.
Absolutely, because as we see this first hit unfold as well, when you have Chad and Healy on the same team, you have players that know exactly what's going on, pretty much whatever is happening because of the amount of experience that they have, and the Infected reacted so well to support that tank that, okay, they're going to take a little bit of damage on this opening hit, but that was, like I said, potentially tournament-winning level play by Team Impact just because it's how do you capitalize on your opponent's mistakes as special infected, and they absolutely showed a masterclass there by hitting the charge inside. And that puts all the pressure now onto the SI as they've already gotten wiped on Survivor side, right? Because it's like you guys said, there is no bracket reset again. Like, this is literally something that could decide the tournament, and they need to, like I said, they're just on a really bad streak right now, dating back to the last game, as we kind of talked about.
All right, they're going to sit a quick spawn here to try cap. Oh, the Hunter gets blasted, but it'll be a nice little two-piece in the back. Cleaned up still pretty quickly. The Boomer dies off at the end. Decent sack order, not the most value. But more importantly so, there's going to be a lot of comments trickling in if they spawn this tank. I don't know if it's going to be really detrimental to their cause. Because there's about a dozen behind. No, they're going to slow down. Never mind.
The thing is, if Impact just plays it chill here, the chance that they get wiped is very low. Which means, this chapter is pretty chill. They have a good chance of totally breaking away here, and all they have to do is just play standard Left 4 Dead 2.
Speaking of standard Left 4 Dead 2, let's see if the SI really tries to overfocus on hittables, because here's the thing. When you're already mentally reeling from certain things happening, it's pretty easy to say, like, hey, listen, we have to go for the big play. But as Nightingale just said, sometimes it's good to play standard Left 4 Dead 2. Team Impact has all the control when it comes to that right now. And on Survivor side, we mentioned it before, but they're not going to fear this hittable on the playground. This tank is going to be in the hands of Roxas and is going to be committing. As we are watching this with the SI hit already spawned with one punch going out, but the tank is down to 2,400 HP. Let's see if this does much of anything at all. The tank is missing a punch onto Coach after the Hunter landed, missing a punch onto Coach. Absolutely. This is unfortunately what we said could not happen, and right now Team Impact is showing why, with their fortitude dating back to that last SI hit, having now killed this tank, they might score something like 1,000 points on this chapter, and they absolutely deserve to based on how they've played.
That is massive bonus. Look at that, 74.3% bonus remaining after the tank is dead. No win caps, DB preserved, all sets of pills, 70% of the map navigated with a 2-2 coming because the tank is dead. And what are this? It's going to be an okay 2-2. And if they hit now, they have no hit for the house, no.
Right. Yeah. Okay, they send the boom. Hunter Jockey are kind of looking for the business here. Yeah, I think that they just have to send a stairwell hit. It's messy. It's, the likelihood of it working for more than 5% is pretty low, but they actually looks like they're going to wait for the transition potential alarm card. I don't know. It doesn't look clean, but they are going to choose to wait for the fourth player, which I can't blame Judgment too much for doing. Let's see if the charge comes in clutch.
Oh.
Whoa! Healy! Chill!
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
Did he blast him through the wall?
He through the window, and the thing is, Healy has always been a thorn in the side of all these top teams. He performed so well on his own. I mean, the fact that he was getting smoked, and then the tank throws a rock, and he still skeets the rock that's like 2 feet away from him while he's getting smoked. I mean, it puts it all perfectly. They're going to walk in the safe room with so much bonus, but we got one hit left. What do you think, Rails?
Going to be, I don't know, kind of a desperation heave from the SI side of things. They do manage to land the one boom, but the smoker dies. Not really seeing a whole lot of cohesion on these hits, but I wanted to mention something in particular after the survivors get to the safe room as well about Healy, just because I want to clarify something for the audience too.
Yes.
Let's see what the SI can even do here with only 2 spawns. Survivors just going to basically run back and forth. They do manage to hit the double charge. Hunter going in, but Healy again making, and this is no pun intended, making another impact play, right? Was he not the tank for his team when I was watching that wasn't able to wipe them on SI side on map 5 on there? He was, and ever since that tank, what am I going to say? Well, he's just played absolutely lights out, because he got the first tank this game. He skeeted that Hunter through the window, and now his team's making the safe room and taking a over 900-point lead in the second game of the grand finals. That, to me, is the kind of championship mentality we were talking about earlier.
That's going to be tough to dig out of. That's a big, big deficit. I mean, they have 4 chapters to do it, but man, this finale and Chapter 4 is not worth a lot of points. So you need to bring it back by Chapter 4, in my opinion, within like 400. Remember, the finale is only worth 600, and Chapter 4 is only worth 4. So making a big comeback just isn't feasible in that situation.
I will play devil's advocate for Judgment. I will say that this chapter 2, chapter 3, there is some chaos that can unfold, that's for sure, especially near the end. You know, they start headed up into the building, through the sugarcane fields. You know, some craziness can happen, but it's a tough ask even to play devil's advocate as we head into chapter 2.
No, but one thing I do also want to mention to give Judgment their props a bit too, like Mila style Driss. I've known Driss for a decent amount of years at this point. If there's any team that can actually pull it back and kind of do a counterbalance to what we were talking about before, they can do it. On the SI side, they've shown it throughout this tournament. They've shown it over the years, different lineup changes and that kind of stuff, but that's a name that dates back to some extremely high-level competition over the years. So let's see what Team Impact do on the Survivor side. They've got the lead, and they are going to try to maximize it as well as they push out of this first building on map 2 of Hard Rain Downpour. Shout out to Xeon, of course, as the hit goes in. That's going to be an M2 on the jockey. That's going to be only the Hunter really getting much of anything with the double spit. So honestly, MK, that's not terrible for what occurred on that hit, getting 30 damage out of it.
No, I considering what they did, I think they would be happy. Of course, not having a charge spit combo, but still getting 29 points from one SI is pretty decent. I'm actually surprised it's actually that much damage, because look at Spooky down to 70 HP, Healy at 98, everybody else is still at 100, of course. Tank at 75%. They're going to try spawn early. All right, oh, this might be a little rough to get some value here, and I think they jumped the gun here a little bit, 9-0, and they got baited.
This is a strange hit for sure. It doesn't look clean. It didn't really feel good. Everything gets mopped up. And I've got to be real, that first hit, it went so well because someone popped the spit on him. I mean, that spit shouldn't have got shot until later in the pickup, and that's what happens. You eat that double spit, you get spiked down, but they cleaned it up here on the second hit, and yeah, normally we see teams hitting on the exit of that, especially with the boom. You got a bunch of arc boom spots there that you can go for as they exit, but Judgment didn't do that. Instead, they are going to be propped up very well for this hit through here, which was maybe their overarching goal anyways.
Could be. Let's see exactly how it goes, because we do have that jockey getting M2'd. Everything else pretty much getting shut down. And who is skeeting all the hunters, MK?
Who else? It's going to be Healy, of course. But I was a little questioned. Did you see the hunter's decision there, guys? He had a survivor separated, and he chose to go for the 3 instead of the 1. He didn't want the shotgun. He didn't want it.
Got the other shotgun instead.
Yeah, no, right to the toe piece. He got skeeted out of the sky. And Charger Boomer Spitter Jockey looks like they're going to get for the stairs. I don't know if they have time to sack anything here. 9-0. And they're going to try. Okay, they send the jockey in alone, and I just think, okay, I think the mental game is being completely broken right now. They're fumbling the bag big time right here. Oh, never mind. There's a tank. What am I paying? I'm not even paying attention.
I'm going to agree, honestly, and here's why. So, since everything that we talked about happened, like I said, certain teams can respond to it, other teams can't. Other times you try to respond to it and things still don't go your way. I don't know if any of that matters as much as this tank that's up in the hands of Style, because if this trend continues, right, this is like their last chance to stop it. So if there's a way for them to get off the skid that started with everything that happened at the end of the last game plus the first map, like, this has to be it. And unfortunately, you know, Judgment's kind of facing an uphill battle because they have a huge open field against one of the better teams of the game, as we kind of mentioned before. So if the Survivors as 9-0 set on map 1 just kind of play standard here, it's hard for things to go wrong. It looks like a rock tank attempt is going down as the Hunter's going to get cleared, Jockey gets cleared, Smoker got a pull now, a repull, and then is going to die. You know, if they get boomed or multi-boomed here, that would be pretty awful, but like I said, Style has to find a way to just go back to the standard, try to get 2 in caps. It's like, you don't need to play for the ultra white, but you also can't do no damage. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I mean, Healy right now, he not only is skiing the Hunter, he's getting the instant clears on the Smokers, the instant clears on the Chargers. He is really being such a boon for his team, but it's not a single person's effort. They're all locked in. But actually, I almost caster cursed them. That was a triple boom waiting to happen, in my opinion, but they got the clear so damn quick that it was just the single onto Coach, it looks like. And yeah, they're going to get bailed out massively. But yeah, I was wondering what the game plan was for Judgment when they send in the Smoker Hunter Jockey. It looks like they are going to just cycle back into that, I presume, and then the hit comes out. Ooh, actually, it's a boom.
Yeah, they gotta go again. This is gonna be attack number 3, but this is more or less just a sack to make sure Boomer dies at the end, I think. And they'll send the Boomer in with a rock. No. Okay. It looks like I have no idea what I'm talking about. But the Boomer just gets a 1 proxy onto a survivor, and Style goes to second pass, and we should see a commit very shortly after all of his SI are ready to go.
No, we absolutely should. And I think what they were trying to do there is, as you said, like, no matter how long it took to spawn, Boomer had to die last. The problem, though, is that they have this charger for the open field.
Yeah.
The first hit that they had was the Smoker Hunter Jockey tri-cap, and I kind of agree with the SI that it was too early to just insta-commit the tank there, but now they have to make this work. Style is in there, already down to 3k HP almost, as he almost gets 1 survivor, and then we do have the Pounce landing. But here's the problem, the Charger can't get there fast enough and actually locks into Rochelle's hitbox and doesn't land, and the Jockey is also going to die. And gentlemen, this is exactly what I was afraid of, because in that open field, it's really hard to make anything work in some ways except the Smoker Hunter Jockey, and it's hard to get the same hit twice in like a 3 or a 4 hit span sometimes.
The really interesting part about that hit is typically the SIs in an open field like this, they're going to go in and get the early cap to bring the tank in. But what actually happened is Ellis brought the tank on a wild goose chase. And well, hold on, might do it again. Rock comes out this time as he's just wallowing in it. And he is certainly going to go down at this point, tries to fake him out. But yeah, it was just bizarre. Like, the tank was hunting down Ellis on one end while the SIs were trying to fight a skirmish on the other end. It was just a strange fight, and it didn't do Judgment any benefit.
No, I mean, they're up the stairs. Spawns, there's nothing really to stop them. The Charger goes alone, it'll just get melted, and the Charger's wise to hold. And now they got to be able to hit here before this button, because this is Downpour. This door opens quicker. I agree with that Charger going.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the other 2 SI weren't on the same page, and I think Rails is right. I think the spirit's broke right now. They got to regain it quicker. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah, I hate to be the proverbial skunk at the Christmas party or whatever, but it's one of those things where when something that mentally affecting happens, it can really turn into, like I said, a downward spiral. And the other thing is, with that tank that we just saw, like, conventional wisdom is, of course, the tank goes in, gets a corner, and then the tri-cap gets the other 3 for the frag movie highlight. But in the open field, as Nightnaw mentioned, you know, Ellis kind of led him on what was a wild goose chase, and then the reason I said go for 1 or 2 in caps is because, like, okay, pin somebody with the Hunter, take the in cap, pull somebody and take the in cap, and that would have at least gotten some kind of damage. But because the survivors are clearing this hit ultra well, it's not the same thing as the regular hard rain field guys. They're going to be able to just literally almost walk into the safe room, and I think they've almost secured this tournament.
Look out now!
At this point, Impact is just flexing their mechanical talents. I mean, all these players just getting chip levels, instant clears. The SIs can't get in any which way. The momentum's insane. Hunt Spit's going to be attempted. It will be successful. Smoke pull back as well. Double boom. It's worth about 100 points, I think. Well, actually, some more as they continue to scratch for more. But look at the scoreline, MK. Almost 1,400 points in one chapter.
That's
2,544 points in 2 maps. That is incredible.
and on Downpour too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's like something you see. That's like something that you see at the start of passing or Pacifice, right? Where it's like, okay, but instead it's on Downpour, as you mentioned. It's like, well, that's what happens when you have an open field tank and basically a tank that can kind of be played in an open field. But it goes back to that over-aggression, unfortunately, by Judgment on map 1, where they decided to push through the house, and everything that's happened since then has resulted in this is a real number, 2,300, yeah, 2,300 and what? Caster math is always bad. 27-point lead for Team Impact, and I mean, what do you do on Survivor side here, right?
Don't take damage.
Thank you, MK.
We said that once before, that Judgment. Remember in Chapter 4 of Dead Air, we said they just need to not take damage. That did not work well for them. The Jockey does get cleared. Hunter hopping through, gets skied in, charge, spin. However, will still find its way into Rochelle, and it's still going to be worth 5% plus.
Jeez. That's amazing, considering nothing really landed. And I mean, the Jockey Hunter melted, the Charger still lands, and the Survivor still goes down to 68 health. That's just really rough. almost a complete meltdown on the SI, and Judgment really could have used that, but I don't know. Let's see if they can keep...
Just, like I said, Judgment have done so well throughout the course of this tournament to make it here, number one. Number two, they've been good players for a while. Like I said, I recognize Meal, I recognize Driss. Rox is kind of too style as well, right? But when you're playing against a team that's as good as Team Impact, I like what Nine Naw said about, like, respecting your opposition and being like, okay, the team that we're against, this might not be a roster that they've ran with for years or whatever, right? But they're still extremely talented players in order to make it to the same, like, kind of spot here. And it might sound, like, boring, but sometimes the team that plays the game the conventional way better than their opponent is the one that just wins. And that's how it works at this level, especially this deep in a tournament in the grand finals, you know?
Very well said. And they do manage to bait out that charger quite beautifully. Rox is putting it on his back for that one. He does juke it out. Charger goes for a smack into the charge, goes slow-mo mode. But still, they're below 90%. The damage is somewhat getting through. And they're also going pretty slowly through here. They've got about 10 seconds left for Chad and Healy to get back up. They should have time, but they should be all right.
Yeah, I mean, they should have spawns up in time for this. If Judgment rushes, it might be... all right, the Boomer lands because they back into it. Smoker pull, Charger's going to take him forward. Oh, yeah. No, this might be 2 slams, maybe. 1, 2, maybe 3. No, that'll be 2. Getting him down to 77.8% damage, and this is also pre-tank as well. A lot of pre-chip.
That is some incredible SI coordination because, as you saw, they just built off each other there. The fact the Charger got the separation off another pin while the boom hit, like, that's the kind of synchronization that you aim for.
Right.
They make it look easy, don't they?
Certainly do. Well, and that was something else I was going to mention because it's like this is an Orange Ping game. It's not like both teams are playing on the same local server wherever. Like, they both do have everybody kind of close to an average of what, like 94, maybe 100 ping. And for players that have played for a while, that's not the worst thing in the world. And many of us would just say, like, oh, okay, Orange Ping Rails is going, you know, out of his way to call attention to that again. But for this kind of game, when it's down to every single, like, skeet, every single, like, SI that lands or doesn't, some of these tanks have been throwing some punches that haven't landed on the survivors as well. And it's just been down to something like that with movement, taking the situation into account when it comes to how you connect with your opponent. So all those little things matter, and that kind of attention to detail is what's going to separate these two teams. Let's see what Impact does, because they have the ability to just keep getting hits. Go-Go's are going in, as we see the double slam with the Charger and the Hunter, and then there's the tongue cut, but MK, what beautiful special infected by Team Impact that we're watching here.
Yeah, and they're hitting very well synchronized. They're making attacks with tank. Usually when we cast a lot of matches, it'll be 3 rock attempts. Usually none of them land. So they'll probably go for 1 or 2 more. Impact, I would say Hakori. Some of the older teams like to commit their tank more than 1 time if they have the chance to. So let's see what Impact is going to do here. Another hit coming in. It's 2-2 with a boomer. Or I mean 2-1 with a boom. Oh, the rock will miss the charge. Oh, did he get it? I think he got the rock.
He did.
Wow. And resets his rage. And that's 2, guys.
This is brutal. Yeah, this is, like I said, to add insult to injury. And again, right, Orange Ping, hard to skeet the rock then, as with everybody with 20 or 30. It's something where when you have 2 bleeding survivors and only 2 sets of pills and this kind of a score delta, you know, Judgment could try to push the tank a little bit more to stop him from getting that much sight, but instead another SI hit's going to go in, just beating them into the ground. That's going to be the double cap landing. Hunter trying to make it the tri-cap, almost getting it, but another rock does land. MK, I'm pretty sure we're watching Team Impact take this tournament right here.
That is attack number 3 that went in, and they've gotten value of it. 2 rocks were landed in 3 attacks. That's only 3 so far. They're going to go for number 4 here in a minute. And 9 Naw, I know they're going to have a boomer, but if they can land this boomer, I think he just might roll it in.
Regardless, like, the SIs aren't getting shut down. It's a mechanical difference. Honestly, it's as clear as day. The Chargers are not getting chip level. The jockeys are not getting M2'd. They've lost at least 400 bonus. Look, they just got double charged again with a rock as well on the target who got knocked down. I mean, it's the night and day difference here between the survivor mechanics, and it's manifesting in a very clear bonus difference. They've already lost the chapter by hundreds of points, and the tank is 4,800 HP, Rails.
Yeah, and this is where we kind of can't understate the end of last game, because for those that watch the Dead Air match, obviously, if someone's watching the VOD and they want to go back and see it, I highly encourage it, but this is something where the survivors continue to take damage. The first game was exceptionally close on Dead Air, like what, 2800 to 2700? We haven't even mentioned that this could be a map knowledge situation where Impact just has a better feel for it. Maybe they played as a team more, perhaps they're more comfortable on it than other teams, who knows? But it's been all in their favor, essentially since that turning point. And sometimes that happens when it's multiple games. That's why, like I said, I commend teams that play the games back to back like that, especially when it's not home and away. But this is something that Judgment really can't stop what's coming here. They keep eating the actual SI when they go in instead of shutting them down. Hunter landed there. They did kill the Charger, and then they do kill the Boomer. But guys, they're about to have two survivors who are just slow and bleeding, and the tank is playing just directly in their faces almost, because he knows this game is almost over.
Yeah, they're going to play this rock all the way out. They've already attacked the survivors with 6 special infected attacks with this tank at large. And this is about to be number 7. And he is second pass. I still don't think he's sending it in. He's going to walk down and throw a rock for sure. Hunter's ready to go. Smoker, he'll drop down. Here comes the rock. Can he get it? Oh, no, he doesn't. He'll have to decommit, but damage still sneaks out onto the survivors. Another rock. Not going to get it, but a Hunter lands and gets an in cap, and he's still 70% frustration. We're going to get an 8th special affected attack on 9-0.
Yeah,
wow.
I mean, this is supposed to be easily manageable SI, right? They're out in the middle of nowhere. The rockets are not easy. This should not be going this way, and that's what hurts so much more for Judgment. They don't have any pills. There's 2 players getting bled out until they're just a scratch away. Look at that double jump on the charge. Smoker trying to catch a player out. Rock comes out. KMY gets denied once again, but it doesn't matter. They've already putting in so much. They're down to 274 bonus, and it's Drain Gang. There's nothing that they can do about this.
No, it's having a rock tank in this particular circumstance right here, I don't want to say it's like insulting, but it's one of those things that just infuriates the survivors to no end, whether it's not LOSing or just eating the hits. Or again, here's the separation, especially for Nick there, getting in capped. And it's, I don't know, MK, it's kind of textbook at this point where now you've got 2 survivors down. Tank has 142 health and is still throwing rocks, and they actually split up enough to where that's going to turn into a wipe with that in cap onto Ellis. What a clinic by Team Impact, and they are going to be ahead 2,554 to 622 through 2 maps of Hard Rain Downpour. That does not bode well. I mean, listen, I'm not going to completely rule it out, and even as I was saying a little bit ago, like, oh, this is going to be over, you're there. In reality, if somehow Judgment pulls this off, it would be the most, and I'm going to knock on wood here, but probably the most spectacular comeback, not in the history of competitive Left 4 Dead 2, but at least that I can remember at the moment. If they somehow find a way to flip this game and score 1,900 points to none for Impact. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost impossible at this point. And if I did my math correctly, correct me if I'm right here, 9-0. Even though they wiped on the last hit, I think that was the 9th set of 3 infected that they sent at them, and it did wipe them.
I could not tell you.
That is just crazy.
They were all landing. I mean, it was just like every SI was landing. I did have a little bit more I wanted to say about the possibility of Judgment, because we'll have to see the hit first. Spit comes out, not going to spread properly. Boom, Spit is last. They will be able to sack into a Jock Hunt charge Spit if they send the smoke, or they can just keep the smoke. Either way, okay. So you know what we saw happen in chapter, I believe chapter 3 of Dead Air was the early quad. It gave Impact what could have been a massive swing, like 1,500 points. And look, they've got it right here. They're gonna try it. Can this be the ace up the sleeve that they needed, Rails?
Well, to echo what you're saying, I looked at the tank percentage, 85%, right? Yeah. So they can't rely on the tank, because at this point they're going to get those distance points, and every single step forward that Impact takes is consequential. We are going to see a double cap land, but unfortunately the Charger is not able to land any survivor there, as the Smoker does manage to get kind of like a rolling tri-cap. But guys, 85% of the way through the map is still a few hundred points, and that just then requires even more work for Team Judgment to bring this back. And obviously, too, this choke here, I don't know if it would have been worth saving the quad for the ladder there, but that can also be a pretty devastating choke for the survivors. It just seems like Impact has total control of the pacing.
I think they got a lot more than that. They are playing dominant. Well, what a charge. Beautifully done. Gets cleared up pretty quickly. But they're both swimming in the spit. They're going to get a lot of value from this. But it's not the quad, though.
Judgment side.
Yeah,
listen.
I agree, but back to what you were saying real quick, Rails. For those about that tank on last chapter, that is called a toxic rock tank to kill the morale of the enemy team.
It absolutely is, and I remember Dusty loading into pugs and doing it to me and absolutely hating it. So in a grand finals match, it has to be like 3 or 4 times worse, honestly, though. This, too, right, it's like, okay, the SI found a way to get some damage on the board because the survivors were just holding W whenever they wanted to down their throats on this map, and the SI are still fighting. I like seeing that, 'cause now we got a little bit of separation here for a bit more damage. Healy's on the verge of having to pop before the tank, and the biggest thing is like, okay, now we can say that they need a wipe. No more of this 2-in-cap stuff. Like, they need to kill them, and they need to make the map with like multi-100-point bonus in order to make this interesting for map 4. But this would be on that level in 2026. Is 2400 is. That's both maps. Because say they make it with like even 1,000 after they die here, they're still going to be behind like 1,400 with 2 maps to go. This is going to be some major work needed, and we are going to see the tank going in with a boom, and he does actually have what looks to be a corner onto Healy. He's going to get him down, but he's already down to just about 2,000 HP. As I say this, 2,200 to be exact. Now he's getting chipped down to under 2K, climbing up the side there, but they have Healy down in a favorable position. I just don't know if it's enough.
They're going to try to surround him to punish him for the rock play, but the damage isn't quite coming out fast enough. He's still got 1,300. Mila, Style, and Roxas are about to be up, but they do manage to get the pick up. He drops back down. He's going to go down. Kind of pulling the trigger early, and it leaves the SI stranded. Charge, Hunt, Boom is what they would have had. Instead, they get nothing with that. And Impact is allowed to continue through. Sure, I mean, he saw a window for some damage, but I can't help but feel like he needed the whole enchilada there. And it's a rough situation that Impact put him in.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking situation, honestly, for Judgment going just the way that this has, because that was a really solid tank. Yeah, like, Driss, in any other situation right there, anybody would love to play that tank in this situation. But unfortunately, because his team is facing the Delta that they are, as I already mentioned, the survivors still have, what, 400 bonus-ish going into this last hit? And it's like, even though their health looks the way it does on the board because of the way that this is scored, you know, which is a better system in my opinion in some ways than it used to be, they're going to be able to make it in so long as this last hit isn't catastrophic, and they're still getting distance points right now, so it just makes the job for Judgment that much harder. Again, really solid tank by Driss at any other point, but I agree with Nine they needed a bit more, and they still haven't wiped Team Impact because they're going to be able to clear that smoker, make their way over the truck, and then they are in the safe room, basically.
Yeah, the fact that they're getting any bonus at all is, of course, tragic for Judgment. Gonna have one more shot at this. I do believe you can see how slow Rochelle is. Charger is up. Spitter is up. They're gonna go ahead and send it like that. Hey, get some good damage in there. Spit a little bit late to the party. Gonna get blocked pretty damn well by Clutch, but now he's swimming in it. And yeah, they'll be able to cut the bonus in half, at least until they pick up KMY. And try to get a little bit rolling here.
They're still gonna have what, like probably 300 something after she's revived?
Definitely gonna be good enough. 24/7.
Yeah, 247. Okay, that works. Yeah. So now they're gonna clear the smoker on Chad, and then he is gonna be the health bonus, closing the door. 3,380 to 622 before Judgment goes. Ugh. That is a mountain that they are going to have to try to climb, but it's, I don't know, the late tank kind of helps them. It's going to come down to their survivor, which we said there was kind of a difference between impacts and theirs, at least from what we've seen right here. It's a real tough, without taking anything away from them, because listen, I have more second places than I'd like to even mention, right? Like making it this far and doing as well as they have, when in games like this, it really can come down to one SI hit or even one pinner. I've been in situations like that in grand finals and lost because of that situation where it's like, okay, we would have had a tri-cap if X happened and it didn't on one map, you know. that's the way that this game goes. They've been around for as long as they have. They've played at the level that they have. They're gonna take something away from this, even if they don't manage to win the game. But it's just a case of Impact being the better team and making the play in the most pivotal moment, which was ironically map 5 of the last game, and then also map 1 of this game. Right at the end and then right at the start, just kind of back to back. I don't know, Nine. That's a pretty textbook case of how people win in this game, but not just in this game, in a lot of competitions.
Yeah, that's a really good like psychological perspective there because you're right. I mean, they had that heartbreaking moment there at the very tail end of the first campaign, and then right into the second campaign, they make an absolutely just ridiculously aggressive play to start off the first chapter on Hard Rain Downpour, and they get instantly wiped as a result. They're going to need to shake it off and get back into this. There is the potential for them to get a good amount of bonus, if they can do it. They're starting with 1,200 bonus here, which means that Impact left almost 1,000 bonus on the table. But the survivor play from Impact has looked so much more solid. We are going to need to have a metamorphosis moment from Judgment. It's going to need to happen right now, starting with this hit. Hunt, smoke, spit, boom. Whoa. Roxas managing to hit the skeet while being smoked, and they will shut down the hit with 100% left.
Wow. I'll tell you what, if there was ever a time they needed to start with that shutdown, that was it, guys. They desperately needed that. No damage coming out. And due to the non-spit block, as long as they don't separate from Driss too much, they should be able to get out in the open without another special infected attack, and they're going to be able to do so. Good job and good start for Judgment.
Yeah, this tank's going to be up in the hands of Chad at 85% for Team Impact, and Chad is one of those names. He's been at the top of every Pug site leaderboard for the past 2 or 3 years, and he's placed extremely well in tournaments, so I'm not surprised at that at all. Very nice hit coming in here as well, with a few of the pinners landing. Jockey doing the most damage there before getting cleared. Again, the SI choosing to forego the sort of infamous choke up here where people can get ledge hung, they can get jockeyed off the side, they can get charged, but hey, they say, we're playing against excellent opposition, let's just try to go for the quad, go for damage downstairs. Survivor's going to push through it, and they really haven't taken a whole lot of damage at this point, relatively speaking, but again, it's going to come down to, can they actually shut down Chad's tank at that point, and then can they somehow make it with substantially better bonus than just 200 or 300. If they can make it with 600, 700 bonus, we'll at least be interested to see what happens next map, because they can definitely pull that off, but they need to shut this down as well. That is now unfortunately the way to do it, because the Charger's going to land, Spit's going to land. Rochelle does get out of it pretty fast, actually, to her credit, but Boomer gets M2'd, gets a little bit of a stumble, and honestly, not bad by the Survivors on that one. They need to keep doing that.
If I can talk about the meta for a bit, I don't know if y'all will agree, but I do think the meta has shifted towards just get the hits in over and over again. Instead of waiting for a premium choke point, like you said at that spot, the transition area, they instead opted for a very fast hit outside and then another hit at a pretty damn good choke point. It's not the premium spot, but it's still pretty damn good. They get set up for this area too, and they just send it. The spit comes out. It's on Driss. He's going to eat a little bit of it. They haven't actually eaten that much bonus. It's actually pretty good here for Judgment, but there is the threat of the Chad tank looming over their heads, Rails.
They've managed to knock Driss down to just about 50 HP. Mila's at 90, and Rox is 84, Styles 97. Most important thing is that nobody's bleeding, because Chad definitely knows how to play the same kind of rage-inducing rock tanks that we were talking about for map 2. Let's see what he chooses to do, because like I said, there's no real pressure on Impact right now. They want to win the game. Just put the exclamation mark on it and get a wipe, but they don't necessarily have to, considering the situation. And as I say that, we see the first rock is already being thrown, and the tank is going to do his best to have the Survivors be distracted for a gorgeous double boom that could trigger the commit even in this kind of open field. And indeed, there's the smoker pole going out, but the tongue cut by Mila is also good. Tank missing a punch there as the Survivors are going to get charged as they're boomed. Now he's going to take the Charger's target after the Charger gets cleared. That's going to be what is going to look like maybe the only in-cap going out onto Style, just based on the fact that Survivors can back up, but once again, disadvantageous position for the Survivors, having someone in cap near a silo with a tank on the top of it with rocks. And it's going to hurt Judgment a lot more, unfortunately, because they need to preserve every single ounce of this precious bonus to try to keep this closer.
And not only do they need to keep the bonus though, but the fact that you said that there's a survivor below the water tank, and the fact that this is hard rain, that boomer that landed when his commit, the comments take very long to get to you in hard rain downpour. That's just the way that it is. So they were actually dealing with the boomer horde when the spawns were up. That was really unfortunate for Judgment. But right now they have a survivor half HP on the ground. They're about to have full support.
If I'm the SI, I'm trying to kill the survivor and just lock up this game, because that's really all they need. If they manage to get a kill onto style here and then even any kind of tri-cap, it's going to be 2,200, 2,300 points in 2 maps, which is almost mathematically impossible. So that's exactly what happens, because the Hunter is going to go in and land. Tank is also going to get a punch, and the Hunter isn't cleared. He's throwing that rock, not going to land it onto Driss. And hey, with the amount of damage they're able to get here, I kind of like their call too. Obviously couldn't have known that in hindsight. And last punch goes out, as they are going to get style back up. But just look at the spread, gentlemen. That was kind of exactly what Team Impact needed. And like I said, they didn't need to wipe. They just needed to do great damage, and that's exactly what they did.
That is what they did. I do want to give a massive shout out to Mila. I mean, the man is doing everything he can to put the team on his back. He's the mechanics, the survivor mechanics coming in hot, the Hunter skeets, but also he, cut a tongue. He chip leveled the Charger, who, well, by the way, was playing games with him for a long time, and he held it patiently. Another hit comes in onto Judgment. It gets locked down. They're threatening to win the chapter. Not bad for Judgment. It's just a shame that they're already so far in the hole.
A lot in the hole too. I mean, if they're managed to pull out this 500, what would they be down about 1,600? I think it'll be. I don't know.
That's what I said they kind of needed to do to make the next 2 maps interesting. And like I said, it's going to come bit by bit. Just they need to not eat on this last hit. It's going to be a Charger Spitter, Jockey Hunter for Team Impact. And as I say that, the caster curse, no matter what we do, always somehow lands. That was something where Rochelle was trying to block the room. Did she have a shotgun or an Uzi?
I think shotgun.
I hope it's a shotgun because... Right? No, she has an Uzi. That's what I kind of thought. So that's the exact kind of thing that I said they really can't do. To their credit, they are going to make it in with just like almost 1,000 points, but they had like 1,100 or something before Rochelle with an Uzi held W into the hit. Reason I'm laughing is because we were talking about Cool Jerk or CJ earlier, and he liked to play first position Uzi, but you don't do it like that when you separate from your team with a hit up and then like try to block a room when they can walk it. Well, not walk it, but like short pounce you essentially, because they just pounced her, Charger, got the in cap, and like I said, every single point here matters, and now it's like almost 1,800 points instead of what would have been like 1,500 points.
As someone who has been trying to popularize the back shotgun, I respect the hell out of the position 1 SMG out of Cool Jerk. But regardless, Rochelle was not bringing that position 1 SMG energy. And like you said, just walks into it.
No matter how good you are as a player, when you run into, and this is the second time that we've seen that this game, unfortunately, where the spawns have just been ready to capitalize on it. And yeah, it's a split second and that kind of stuff, et cetera, but it's kind of a coin flip, because when you have a good SI team against a good Survivor team on a neutral server, it still just doesn't help to have it be one Survivor versus like 3 or 4 special infected in a short room like that. That's just, again, it's a recipe for disaster.
I don't know if
the person had a shotgun, people would be screaming that they were a pug star. You know what I mean?
You're right. And I guess the idea was, if you bait it out, you lose anyway, so might as well just send it in and hope that they expect you to bait. But regardless, it did not play into Roxas's hands at all whatsoever. We are going to have one more ready up out of Healy, and we are going to have the 28% tank, which I personally, I'm a massive fan of the rooftop tanks. Yeah.
Listen, they need this on SI side. If that tank had been like 70-some% again, it's just like, okay, how GG can this be before it actually gets to the end of the game? But Mila has a chance now at 28% to actually do something of impact here. Again, no pun intended, but it's one of those things where this map has been not nerfed, but it is only 400 distance points, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so it needs to, again, be this map and next map to actually make it happen. They need to capitalize on the 28% tank. Let's see what the Smoker, Boomer, Charger, Jockey do, because there is there's a slight chance that there might still be Horde if they get boomed, but it's not as short order as regular hard rain. So the survivors might have a chance to clear things no matter what happens, but they are going to jump out into a double boom here, and they are just a little split. Boomer's going to drop down, gets them 2'd. Charger is almost dead. The Smoker is the last thing up, and does actually manage to land a pull drift behind the building. They're getting some value off that, and I don't know, guys, that's just about 58 damage-ish on the first hit, which is nothing too shabby, but once again, they need the hittable wipe, essentially, or any kind of wipe they want to conjure here.
That was 10% and all. That's pretty darn good in my opinion. When you think for how chaotic it was.
Yeah. In a normally scored match, that would have been huge. That would have been a massive moment. But in this situation, I'm with Rails. Damage is nice. Wipe is what you need. And you need the hittables to make that happen. Beautiful hit onto the rooftop. But he's actually sent both of his cars at this point.
Oh, he's fully committing and he hits Chad! Oh my goodness. There's the other car spinning up. They cannot let them get this pickup. In my opinion, they need to stop whatever this is. And indeed, the Hunter is even going to pounce the in-cap survivor as the Charger and the Jockey are both up. That hittable was absolutely perfect, but Mila kind of has a tough position here trying to grind Chad out. He has to play a little bit defensive, and indeed that's what he's doing. But actually with 4K, he's going for the other ones. He flips the car up onto the roof. Jockey lands onto Rochelle. This is the game right here. He is going to go for kind of the kill on Chad, but this is the problem, is the awnings are blocking the hittables from being able to grind the survivor. That is insane. The rock is going to land. Tank going for the follow-up punch, but he can't quite find it. He's getting surrounded, and again, that car goes flying off the roof. Oh, this is so unfortunate. That Boomer gets popped. Unfortunate for Team Judgment, I should say, and the Tank is trying to send the car back on the roof, desperately trying to get it to land, but he's not able to. And guys, that I think is gonna put the exclamation mark and maybe even just the absolute end of this tournament in play, because I can't describe this as anything except not only is Team Impact outplaying Team Judgment, but Team Judgment has had some of the worst luck that I've seen in a while with those hittables. There was just no angle to kill them.
Yeah,
That was tragic.
it does happen. It's unfortunate, and you know, we say this when either hard rain or hard rain downpour. If you get the early tank there, it's like all or nothing. You either get wipe or pretty much nothing. Maybe just one in cap.
Honestly, I'm still not over that. Like, just the roof being perfectly pitched enough. Like, you can play this game for thousands upon thousands of hours and then just be reminded during a grand finals just how the game still rules everything in some ways. And that's one of those examples, because by common logic, it's like, okay, the survivor eats a free car, he should die. But then there's just, because of the way the roof is pitched of all things with 2 cars, there was no way to kill him. He had to, like, rock the car. You know what I mean? Like, if he had E-rocked it maybe and moved it a little bit closer and then grinded him, he could have done it. But in a high-pressure situation like that, common sense dictates that that survivor should die, but instead they're going to make the safe room with, what, over 49% health bonus and 90, well, okay, now 47, but pretty much close to an insurmountable lead mathematically at this point. We're not even trying to hype it up, you know, it's just going to be Team Impact are going to take this, and, like, things have fallen their way after they made things go their way.
And if I can say, I love the way that Healy read that situation with the car on top of the house, the rooftop. He was making what looked from the overhead cam to be absurd aggression, going for the pickup right in front of the tank with the car like that. But Healy recognized what you just said. He recognized that the car is in an awkward spot. It looks like it's right there challenging, but he just has that intuitive knowledge of the physics of the game, and he was just like, you know what, that looks like a threat, but just because it looks like it is doesn't necessarily mean it is. And he trusted in his own knowledge, and he steeled himself through the pickup while the cars were coming through. He gets the player up, and the situation is neutralized. Mila did everything he can to carry this game for his team, but he can't do it all, and he did fall short during that. Jockey Charger Smoker Boom once more. We'll see what Judgment can do. On their Survivor side, maybe they can get a perfect, 1280 here, something like that.
Well, it's also something, like I said, one more note about that tank as the SI are now in the safe room for whatever reason. Going as fast as they possibly can because they know they've got this tournament, essentially. The Survivor's last map knew the tank was low and that he'd have another chance to replicate that car hit, but once again, they've been surfing the pressure because, like I said, Chad and Healy, I'm not exactly sure how many tournaments they've won, but I know that they've placed highly enough, like over a continuous span of time, to be like, listen, we're gonna, for lack of a better term, we're gonna big dick this, and we're gonna make sure that we get the survivor up and make the tank do another perfect hittable, and he wasn't able to do it. The team that's able to do that the best when it comes to these kinds of games, like that's the Left 4 Dead 2 attitude. It has been since, you know, H2K used to play back in the day. I can be reminded of moments like that, and Impactor is taking the most advantage they can of this. This is interesting, though, because the tank has decided to commit, and he does get the in cap, and this is so cursed for Team Judgment. Like I said, congratulations to Team Impact, commiserations to Team Judgment, because we have an exact replica, actually, of the last situation, but of course, it's just a little bit different to where the tank for Team Impact is able to actually camp the survivor, and of course he's gonna get the kill, guys, because why not? This is Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, wait a minute! Wait a minute! Wait a minute! The tank shows his dominance, chase everybody off. Nice skeet, but one more hit will kill this survivor. And there it is. Roxas is dead. And we're just a couple of ticks away from having this tournament match clean up. But I think you are right, Rails. It is going to be Team Impact getting the victory.
That's so crazy. So it goes, just to fully get a handle of this as Spooky continues to play out this tank, almost landing another hittable there, by the way, right? It goes from, it looks like on Survivor side, Team Judgment are going to take the dead air game and they're going to find a way into the escape vehicle, which is one of the reasons why I said, hey, can I, you know, be a part of some of this? And then it goes from that, right, to one SI hit managing to stop them, to them losing the tournament because of that momentum. And it's just, I kind of love the fact that finals nowadays are like 2 out of 3 games, because Left 4 Dead 2 can be like crazily chaotic when it comes down to it. But I just feel really, like I said, it takes nothing away from Team Judgment's performance here. It's just that is how it goes, you know, at this kind of level, and it shows how one moment and one SI attack can turn an entire tournament's fortune. Because imagine if they make that plane, right, like they kind of should have there, and the SI for Team Impact somehow don't like find a way to clutch it in a way that wins them the tournament eventually. Like, we have an entirely different conversation, and then this game's entirely different, but instead it's going to be Impact kind of cleaning up here, because I'd be surprised if they play map 5 with the way this score has gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. I'd be surprised if they play Chapter 5. It might just do it for the fans, I don't know, but we'll see what happens when they take this choke point. Charger pre-spawns, misses his B-hop though, and just charges off the roof.
Away.
He chooses, he made an executive decision, say I'm living. And the hunter finds it. Oh, look at the survivor in the spit. Is he in it? No, just misses it. And the jockey grabs him.
They are so coordinated on the special infected side. I mean, obviously they should be in order to win a tournament like this, right? But just the ways that they chain the hits together, that's what you really look for. And if you don't know how to do it, it can be, you know, something where it's like, oh, that's kind of like pub strats or something. But when you really know how to do it as a team, especially on competitive configs, you know, it just is a thing of art to watch Impact do that, because there's been so many chances where, like I said, it can come down to one skeet, one smoker pull, or one kind of hit, but they've been consistently coordinated on the SI side, and that kind of continues here, because you see the smoker pull going, and Survivor's trying to fight off the common. You know, Coach is almost in cap, and even though the game is effectively over, they just have that synchronization pretty much down pat, so can't really take anything away from Team Impact and how they've done this, and they showed up when it really mattered most in a way that a lot of teams can't, and that's why they're going to be the champions.
And Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of Dead Air look pretty damn close, but you peel back the layers on Chapter 3, and, you know, they bring out that quad in a situation that me and MK questioned it. We were like, wow, they're not going to get the spitter.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
He's playing chicken with the Charger.
And then he just goes after Coach instead. Like, that was something where Driss was waiting for him, and then the Charger just absolutely goes for the right target with his style, because they can hit anybody who they can. But this is, you know, we talked a little bit about RBT8 happening. We talked about other tournaments happening in the scene. I would love to see both these teams play, because they've given us some really quality gameplay over the last, like, 3 hours. And, you know, for whatever tournament at whatever time when you see a match like that, it's absolutely cool. And like I said, Impact has been around for long enough, and they've had players who have been at the top of the scene for a decent amount of time, as have Team Judgment in their own way. I just really like the fact that we're able to see a match of this kind of quality, but more important than that, a grand finals of this kind of quality. And it speaks to why, you know, when you have two teams that are this evenly matched, almost anything can happen. And there is a double cap going in, turning into kind of a rolling tri-cap. Charger going for punches as well. Now trying to lock this up, but he is going to get leveled as the GGs come out. And MK, you can, as you guys have covered the tournament as much as you have, how is the Bloodfest tournament ending?
It is going to end with Impact getting the victory over Judgment with a campaign score of 4,308 to 1,891. GG, guys. GG's.